Hello and welcome. I'm Knight's Angel, and this is just a Folf on the road. Thank you for joining me. Alright. Last episode I was talking about some story work, which you guys seem to actually like. Okay, and to come up with ideas for this video, I went ahead and did a poll on Furry. Pretty much answering questions about me, or talking about more of my story work, my methodology and whatnot, and bits and pieces from different stories. Pretty much I'm listing off the options. One was just keep it furry. Another was don't care, just ramble. And the last one was button, because why not? Okay. We actually have a tie between them. Between story and keep it furry. Which you both luck out. Most of my writing is furry. I use anthropomorphic characters in pretty much all of my work. Yeah, there are a couple of human characters that pop in and out, but mostly it's set up with anthro. So everybody wins. The other two, well, I did 6 options. Button had two votes. And apparently nobody cares about me, or at least one person does. I got 1 vote on that. Sorry. And the last one, just ramble, got like 2 votes. So, since I pretty much am limited on what I can do here. I mean, this is just a vlog series, and I don't have the editing capacity at home to really do another series I want to do called Writer's Block, which is pretty much just me talking about being a writer. I mean, I do have my build series, which I need to work on at some point when I have the time and the materials, and that's pretty much just me making things and showing you how I make it and showing you little tricks to help you. Done more in a real-time sense since I figured out the whole pause feature like this. I can speed up that process a little bit. But anyway, on to what everybody wants to hear about. Furries and stories. Alright, put simply, I've discussed this multiple times. I'm a writer. I am not a noted or published writer. In my opinion, those are considered authors. I am not, so I'm just a writer. There's a lot of traffic right now. I apologize for all the background noise. There's a way I can contend with it, like doing this, but that just gets really awkward. It's also very windy. Go figure. This road is usually kind of dead. But recently when I started doing videos on it, it really picked up. Thank you, school bus. But anyway, I know I'm completely off topic right now. Trying to get there. Anyway. Last episode I was talking about the magic system I was using in the story called A Beast Called Nightmare. or the beast called Nightmare. Okay, let's go into detail about this. I'm not going to give away any plot points, but I will go ahead and discuss the characters. For our main character, we have, and this is actually his full name, Alexander Hunter Greenville. He is a rat with dragonic blood. One of his ancestors was a dragon. Actually, it was his great-grandmother, who was a forest dragon, or is a forest dragon, named Volt. I may do, if I decide to do the follow-up story, I may actually bring her in and put some more detail into her, but pretty much she's a dragon. Okay, that's our lead character. Put simply, he can be called a Mary Sue simply because he always has an answer. He may not have the right answer. Well, throughout the story, he kind of does. He's a goody two-shoes, all that. But he has a lot of self-doubt. Put simply, he has no faith in himself. Which, comic irony, thanks to Nightmare, his right hand, or paw, kind of thing, paw hand, is infused with it was initially supposed to be a tracking spell, but in actuality it wasn't. It's confined, the little secret, it was actually intended to be used the way it was, but what it is Nightmare can track his own magic. That's the secret. And it's never explained how he does it, or the whole thing. He simply can track his own magic. So just simply giving the kid a spell and saying that it's a tracking spell, not exactly a whole truth, but not a lie. But that's a different matter. Because if I go into detail about that, that goes into spoiler territory. Now, we actually have 2 female leads. And this is where it kind of gets convoluted. And it's simply because one is there all the time and the other is a romantic interest. And these 2 are going under circumstance. And yeah, this is actually, and this is one character. I had to recall the other information a bit. We have a Folf. Not like me. She's a red Folf. She is a 12-year-old Folf, sweet little girl, named Sheba Katrina Bloodgold. Yeah, very generic last names. And she is descended from a very old bloodline of witches. And I actually do explain that in the story, how that all works. And she is a very powerful caster. But she's 12. So within the confines of the magic system, because it draws on the caster's physicality as well. Like I said, the stronger the caster, the stronger the magic. Yeah, she's very powerful, but she's very limited because she doesn't understand energy manipulation very well. She's 12. High-level magic takes a toll on her. And she is actually more of a sister figure, a little sister figure to Alex. And that's actually the name he goes by the way. They're not actually brother and sister, they're just that close. Pretty much, they're both orphans. No surprise there. And they grew up together. Alex is older by about 5.5 years. Because in the time span of the story itself, Alex is 17 going on 18. Anyway. Now for the other lead lady, we have a pure fox named Jessica. Jessica Pinico. And if any of you have actually managed to read the story, which I don't know because on both sites I have it set on more of a mature, because there's violence, suggested themes, a good bit of profanity, and, well, okay, what I mean by suggestive things, under the context of fur affinities, description for it, one of the things for mature content is tasteful nudity. Yes, there are scenes where characters are in the buff. Nothing, but it's nothing dirty. It's just, they just happen to be naked at the moment. But anyway, that all aside, let's get back to Jessica here. She is a pure fox, and she is a mob boss. Under the technicality of, she was the adopted heiress of a mob boss. And pretty much, it's suggested throughout the whole story until it's fully revealed, but she shoots him to death with a shotgun and takes over his position. Of course, shortly, but I'm gonna leave the details out of that. You can read it up on your own. Anyway, following that, she is pretty much the most normal character. She has no magic prowess. However, it's because of her, Alex and Sheba can do what it is that they do. So, pretty much, she's kind of pulling some strings, but not all of them. That's parts of the rest are pulled by the main villain. A little bit of foreshadowing. If you haven't read it, read it. For one reason, it's a fantasy novel. Some characters don't stay dead. But, moving on. Then, continuing on this little cast of misfits, we have what's effectively the mother figure. She's not a major role, but she does prove to be kind of voice of reason and the caregiver. And, well, she's an otter. And yes, she does do a lot of swimming. Before her involvement in the story, she was actually kind of an Olympian in the field. But that's loose background information. And I'm not going to give it, I'm just sticking to the main cast and not including the villains. I'm not including the villains and I'm not including the side characters. If you want to hear about them, you can either read the book or read the story online. It's on both So Furry and Fur Affinity, which are content. Which is probably why when I got asked about it, they couldn't find it. Excuse me. But we have, well, technically 4, but one of them technically does not count as an anthro character because he appears human. And okay, put simply, he is a God mode character. By all confines, he is the Mary Sue. He's overpowered, doesn't care about anything, pretty much whatever you would expect of him. Or at least doesn't show it. And that's the caretaker. He's in of himself, he's an interesting lot, but we're less worried about him and more worried about the characters that are associated with him. There are 3 of them. Nightmare, Daydream, and Wishmaker. Effectively referred to as his sons. Nightmare is seen as the primary character in the story because most of it revolves around him. I mean, heck, he gets the title of the story is about him. And as far as what he is, to put simply, in the confines of the story, he is considered a demon. He is a chimera, a dragon chimera, and to the extent that most of his structure is dragon-based. Pretty much his stance, his size, and a good portion of his design is that of a dragon, although he's covered with a lot of fur and feathers. But he pretty much in the confines of the story, for people that don't know this little tidbit about him, and he's disguised himself as a mortal, he goes by the name Nicholas. His brother, Wishmaker, who in short is a dragonic wolf angel, or an angelic wolf dragon, or some combination of the 3. I don't remember how I put it. Writers don't remember everything. They write. And he is well, pretty much, just as the name suggests, he's a wish maker. He does so through contract. He also follows confines of equivalent exchange, meaning what you want has to what you're willing to pay has to equal what you want. He's not going to give you more than that. And sometimes it can be very simple, or sometimes it can be very complex. But he is a goofball. If you read the story, the final conflict, he pretty much dishes out memes. And yes, he is all three of them are a bit lecturous at times. Anyway, when he's disguising himself around mortals or mundanes, or however you want to put it, anybody who's not either a magic user or magical in some variation, he goes by the name Wilson. Yeah, I know, there's the meme, Wilson! Yeah, I know. But anyway. And finally, we have Daydream. And to put simply, he is a goo monster. He does not have a distinct form or appearance, other than just being a mass. Just this kind of massive thing. And my coffee is leaking. Pardon me. Yeah. This thermos does not do well in pockets. And normally it's a slightly different matter, but Anyway. Story-wise, I describe him as being very reptilian in appearance. Like, the outer surface looks more like scales. But in actuality, he is just a goo monster. Which is funny which is kind of ironic given the final conflict and what all appears there. The character that has the shortest, well, I have no idea where I was going with that, but I've been I've been carrying on this ramble for almost a half hour, so moving on. All right. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this. If you guys are enjoying this, let me know. You can do so by pushing the buttons in whatever order you want, leaving your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, ideas, insults, what have you, down in the comment section below. And if you're watching this off-site, like on Furry Amino, go ahead, hop over onto the channel, show your interest. Otherwise, you guys can do the same. Leave your thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas, comments, what have you, down under the video. If you have suggestions for a video, put them down there as well. Otherwise, that's all I got. Until next time, I'm Knight's Angel. This has been just a Folf on the road. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a better day. Peace.